OTC is a non-integrated payment processing platform. That means it's standalone and it doesn't work with the calling application. There are two main ways to use and view OTC. The first being what I'm displaying on my screen right now, the cashier view. This would primarily be used for agencies that want to take payments in person. The other available view that's on my screen right now is the public-facing view. This is an e-commerce payment app that can display predefined items that users can choose from and pay for. This would be useful to small agencies that want to avoid the cost of building their own site but still want to have a public-facing payment page available. As an administrator, you have the ability to upload whatever skin you'd like to OTC. You can see right here we have my test instance skinned with the NIC logo, but this could easily have state enterprise branding or agency branding up at the top. When you go to use OTC, either as a cashier or an administrator, this is the login page that you'll hit. Again, our test instance has generic branding up at the top where it says application name, but the skin that you have selected will display at your OTC URL. I'm going to go ahead and log in as an administrator. I would like to note that there are 4 different user roles available in OTC. I just logged in as a portal administrator, which is the highest level of access that's available. The levels are portal administrator, organization administrator, location administrator, and then cashier. So a portal administrator would be assigned to make changes for the entire, say, state enterprise, whereas an organization administrator would make changes for a selected organization, maybe like using the DMV for an example, and then a location administrator can make changes based on the individual locations under that organizational umbrella. The cashier is pretty limited to the changes they can make for settings in OTC. They're mostly configured to be able to check out, but I'll get more into user roles in just a moment. Okay, so this is where we land after we log into OTC. Again, portal administrator, so I am going to have the most options on my sidebar menu, but this login page looks pretty similar for everybody. From the login page, if you do have a swiper connected, which I don't at the moment, you can click configure to set that swiper up and get it ready for use. You can reset your user password, and you can select which location you'd like to work in if you are a user that is assigned to multiple locations. Not all users are. You can see that I'm assigned to Barney Test and Barney Test 2. The credentials that we use to log into OTC are proprietary, so there is no single sign-on integration with Active Directory or Okta. If you're a portal admin, like I'm logged in as here, if you go to the portal settings tab, only your user level has access to that. And within portal settings, there are a few configurations you can change that nobody at a lower level will be able to. So you can decide which swipers will be accepted for all of the organizations and locations within your portal. You can change the label that's shown on the receipt total for the entire portal, and you can upload the skin for the entire portal. Now, at the lower levels of organization and location, that skin can be overridden. So you can set a skin at the portal level that is then further customizable by organization admins and location admins. So that allows you to pick a nice default skin that everybody will go to automatically for the portal, but then if you want to get more custom based on like individual location, city names, stuff like that, you can do that as well. Next, we'll take a look at the Organizations tab. The Organizations tab is available to portal admins and organization admins. One thing that is different is as a portal admin, I can see all of the organizations. As an organization admin, when I go to this tab, I will only see the settings for my organization that I'm assigned to. So for an organization admin, I'll go ahead and open up my org, which is Barney Test. And this is what an organization admin would see when they go to this tab. From here, any edits that we make will affect the entire organization, which would include any locations within it. So we can change the contact info for the organization, adjust transaction minimums and maximums for credit cards, configure service fees, configure the merchant from TPE, configure receipt settings, enable or disable the public-facing page and make changes to those settings. We can allow or disallow keyboard entry for credit cards, require zip codes, and then change the organization skin. So right now it's set to default to the portal level skin, but we could upload a different skin for the organization if we wanted to. So one level further down, we'll go to the Locations tab. And again, because I'm a portal administrator, I can see all of the locations. But as a location administrator, I would log in and only be able to see the locations that are assigned to me. So we'll go into my Barney Test location. And within the Locations tab, this is what the location administrator would see and the organization administrator. So we can change the location code. And similarly to the organization level, we can change receipt settings, keyboard credit card entry, zip code requirement, and skins. Just again, that is only going to change it for the location we're working with. So we have the settings set at the portal level, and then the organization level, and then the location level. It looks like some of these settings are inaccessible, but if I uncheck Use Organization Receipt Options, I now have the ability to edit those fields. They just inherit from the organization by default. So after we've got our locations configured and we want to start actually selling some things, we're going to go to items. As a portal administrator, I can see items for all the organizations. The only other user role that can come in and make changes to items would be an organization admin, and they would log in and only see the items for their particular organization. So if I was an organization admin, I would come to the Items tab, and this is what I would see. So for my Barney Test organization, these are the 3 items that I have configured. And if I want to, I can create a new item, I can edit existing items, I can set a default item, and I can delete the item. So when we go to create a new item, this is the screen we're taken to, and we can set that item to work for the cashier view, where we're checking out over the counter. We can have it set up just for that public facing page if we have that enabled, or we can have the item configured for both. So in here we can configure the item basic information like the name, sales tax preferences, SKU, price. You can also set the price to be preset, unable to be changed, have a default, or be entered by the user. So for a user to be able to sell these items, we have to assign them to the user. So the portal admin, organization admin, and location admin all have access to the users tab. So if I want to make sure that my user is able to sell all 3 of those items, Gotta find myself down in here. I only have so many, again, because I'm a portal administrator. So for an org admin or a location admin, you won't see nearly as much. Okay, so here's my cashier user, L. Barney Cash. I'll go in and edit. So when I go in to edit a user, I can change the roles, change the role, the reporting and refund access right in here. So I could, as a portal administrator, change this user to any of the other roles that are available. As an org admin, you can't assign somebody a portal admin, and as a location admin, you can't assign either organization or portal admin access. So there is some hierarchy there. And down here, my organization is Barney Test. Within that organization, there's 2 locations, and I am assigned to be able to use the cashier page in both Barney Test and Barney Test 2. And then I've got 2 items available to me from those 2 locations, and I have the ability to use both of those items. The user can also be enabled and disabled down here at the bottom. So right now, this user is a cashier, lowest level of access. I can only generate reports in my authorized locations, and I can only generate refunds for my transactions. So not even for my entire location, just transactions that I have generated. So now I'm going to log out of my portal administrator account and show you what it looks like when a cashier actually makes a transaction. Log out. Okay, so here I land on the home page as a cashier. You can see I have much less tabs available to me on the left side there. So I'll go to the cashier page. I don't have a swiper configured, so the only way I could do it is by manual keyboard entry. So I'll proceed without a swiper. Okay, I've got to select one of my items that's assigned to me. So we'll stick with BT3. Let's go ahead and sell 3 of those. And add. So now I have 3 of those BT3 items in my cart with service fees that I configured applied. We're not in New York, but I won't tell if you won't. And then let's get not a real card in here. Visa, perfect. Okay, and this is my test instance, so nothing real is going to happen, but I'll go ahead and submit my payment. About to process transaction. Yep. Okay, and here's my receipt. So I have the option to print the receipt. It also was emailed to me since I was the customer. So I can go back to cashier and process another transaction. If I need to, now we know that my user is only configured to be able to view my transactions. I can go to this lookup transactions screen, and let's make sure I've got a date range that's going to work. 29th. Yep, that should do it. And I'm going to look up transactions. Here we go. And all I see is just that one transaction from today. If I was a portal administrator or an org admin and I left all these settings to all users, all locations, all items, I would see a ton of stuff. But as a cashier, I can only see my own transactions the way that my user is configured. The last tab that's available is reporting, which again is configured on a user-by-user basis. So we can set users to be able to access all these reports or not access them as needed. I think that about covers it for a basic overview of how we interact with OTC. If you do ever have questions or want to learn more, there is an OTC knowledge base in Confluence, which will be linked on this page, or feel free to reach out to me or Doug Turner. We are on the .NET development team called Team Yeti, and we would be happy to answer any questions for you.